So there was an old man was sitting on the bus looking out the window reading the racing form, and the young girl got on there. It was so crowded she didn't have nowhere to sit, and he was sitting right on the end. She said, he said, I'm an old man, I'd like to give you my seat, but I'm an old man, but I'll tell you what you can do, you can sit right down here on my lap. I'm an old man, and it don't make no difference, if you know what I mean. She said, oh, why, okay. And so she sat down in the old man's lap, and they started hitting a few bumps down here on Central, you know, where they building up. And they bumped about a block and a half. The old man said, look here, daughter, I think you better get up, because I ain't as old as I thought I was. Then a fella came back from the wars a few years back, and he was down in San Diego. He got off the boat, and his wife and they had a code that they always use, and she said EF. He said FF. He said EF. She said FF. She said EF. He said FF. The fella heard him. He walked over. He said, hey, what's this, all this stuff, EF and FF? He said, my wife wants to eat first. These are the facts. A vice president of a large corporation entered the office of the president and said, I have some information. He said, you should know this because one of our vice presidents is a fairy. And the president said, what? What's that? Who is he? The guy said, if you kiss me, I'll tell you. But this little boy came home from a spelling bee, and his dad asked him, he said, son, did you win first prize? His dad said, no, Pa. Kid said, I didn't win first prize at all. In fact, I missed the first word. His dad said, you missed the first word. What was it? The kid said, it was posse. He said, no wonder you missed it. You don't even know how to pronounce it. So I worked on the gig last week with a trumpet player named Lou Jones. He was playing a gig in honor of a lot of newlyweds and people that would celebrate their anniversaries and all that kind of stuff. It was just special in their honor. And he was playing a number for the newly wedded couple and he played I Didn't Sleep a Wink Last Night. And then a couple was married 5 years and he played Night and Day. Then there was a couple that had been married 10 years, he played Now and Then. And there was a couple that had been married 15 years and they played Once in a While. Just as he was about to honor a couple that had been married 25 years, someone sitting in the back said, just a minute, before you play Memories, play We Did It Before and We'll Do It Again. It was two girls in the club last night sitting at the bar. Two girls were sitting in the club at the bar last night, and one of them looked at the other and said, sure look like a dull evening, don't it? She said, yeah, I'm gonna try to be in bed by 10:30. If I'm not, I'm going home. I heard this story tonight, and I just have to pass it on. Seems as though a soldier and a sailor, they died at the same time and they entered the pearly gates. And as soon as they got to the pearly gates, St. Peter met the both of them. He looked at the soldier and looked at the sailor. He said, now, fellas, I want you to know this very first day that if either of you have an unclean thought, indecent thought, that you're going to lose your wings. Your wings will fall right off. And a beautiful angel just about then switched by, and she was sharp, and the soldier's wings fell off. And he bent down to pick up his wings, and the sailor's wings fell off. This girl I met a couple of nights ago, you know, from time to time you go out drinking, you feel like going to have a few drinks, and I walked in and met this beautiful girl sitting at the bar, and I didn't have nothing in my mind. And I asked her, I said, well, I asked this girl in the bar, I said, listen, do you like cocktails? She said, yeah, tell me a few. Don't wait for the shrimp boats, mother. Sister's coming home with the crabs. Say it was a boy and a girl. They were in Tyler, Texas, and they were walking down the country road in the moonlight. The boy was carrying a bucket, a broom, a chicken, and leading a goat. And they passed a quiet spot where the trees were just letting the moonlight peek through. And the girl said, I'm afraid walking along here with you, you might try to take advantage of me. This guy said, but how could I take advantage of you? How can I take advantage of you? Look at all this stuff I'm carrying. And besides, I got this goat. The girl said, well, you could still take advantage of me. You could stick the broom handle in the ground and tie the goat to it and put the chicken on the ground under the bucket, couldn't you? There was two big fat hens. They were eating corn in the yard. Suddenly one hen looked up and said, we better separate because here come that cross-eyed rooster and we don't want him to miss both of us. There was a guy making love to his girl. This guy's really making love to his girl. And suddenly he said, kiss me, kiss me. She said, indeed I won't. I shouldn't even be doing this. Medical authorities claim that too much sex is bad for one. And I agree heartily. It is bad for one, but for two, great. You know, a lot of folks don't know the difference between a joke and a wisecrack. And I'll tell you, if a woman has 12 kids, that's a joke. But if she has none, that's a wisecrack. Three girls were telling of their greatest thrill. One girl said, my greatest thrill came when I was engaged. She said, the moment was just, she said, I can't express it. It was just a thrill. The other girl said, well, my greatest thrill came when I got married. When you get married, you go home, they shut it, and you can have so. When you're married, she said, will you be surprised? She said, that's when I got my greatest thrill. And the third girl, she wasn't married. She said, well, my greatest thrill came when my cockeyed sister gave me an enema. Ha ha ha.